Is Pakistan about to get Chinese 5th generation J-35 stealth fighters? It could have severe implications for India's national security. So far, the signals were a bit mixed and confusing. We are all aware that Pakistani pilots are already in China training on the J-35 stealth fighter 5th generation aircraft. There was news that immediately after Operation Sindoor that China would transfer about 30 odd of these J-35 fighters, at least 2 squadrons worth, to Pakistan. But then China was quite upset with the way the Pakistani military has been cozying up to the United States, how it was totally left out of the ceasefire confabulations, and how Asim Munir and all the Pakistani generals and air marshals are making a beeline to Washington. They have been bad-mouthing Chinese equipment. They have been saying that we are being forced to buy Chinese equipment because of the shortage of money and the fact that others will not give such equipment to us. And as you are aware, they have put considerable pressure onto Pakistan, and Pakistan is now dancing a totally different tune. It has been desperately trying to placate China because it knows that it is in no bloody position to get or pay for or even maintain and upkeep the very expensive J-35 American fighters. There is no hope in hell of getting those for the time being. But China, therefore, is calling the shots. Pakistan is now quite clear that it has no options in the military field except for China. Therefore, it has been trying to placate China, and the latest input is that China may well go ahead and proceed with the deal for the Chinese J-35 fighters to Pakistan. They are being sold to it at friendship prices with a 50% discount. That is the latest. So what does India do? Our AMCA, we have decided to go in for AMCA, and for the first time we have decided to also involve the private sector, which is a major welcome step ahead, which could speed up the process. But even with this speeded up process, going by past precedent and experience, it is not at all certain whether the AMCA would be available in the next 10 years. So what do you do if Pakistan acquires 2 to 3 squadrons worth of J-35 5th generation stealth fighters? We've just fought near war in Operation Sindoor. The 5th India-Pakistan round has just gotten over, and Op Sindoor is not yet over. There are disturbing reports coming that Pakistan is activating its proxies for further terror antics in J&K and via Bangladesh. Turkey is also supposed to have landed some of its officials in Bangladesh to help Bangladesh in the greater Bangladesh project. A lot of people have to be brought to their senses in South Asia. And for that, it would be essential for India to maintain military technological supremacy and a clear-cut edge, at least over Pakistan and Bangladesh. You see, we have to match China. But we are getting into a situation where Pakistan is likely to introduce 5th generation stealth fighters into South Asia, perhaps a decade before India does. Is that acceptable? In terms of national security, no way. No way can we accept a 10 years gap or a hiatus between Pakistan getting 5th generation fighters and India developing its own. So what do? There is no way that the AMCA project should be stopped or stalled in any way. it has to be speeded up. It has to be pushed to the maximum. But even then, we have to be realistic, and we have to cater for a situation where, the AMCA designers cannot deliver on their promises. It has happened plenty of times before, and this fighter doesn't get introduced in the next 8 to 10 years. So for this interim decade, what do? You have to go in for a stopgap. Harsh military realities are very simple and straightforward. You cannot afford a 10 years capability gap between us and Pakistan. You forget Pakistan, you may have to deal with the China-Pakistan combination. So how can you afford a hiatus like this? What then are the options? One option was, as Donald Trump had so grandiloquently told us, that 100 F-35s were on offer to India. Where is the offer in writing so far? There is not even any documentation from the firm, the Boeing firm, to offer to sell to India these 100 F-35. They are just a pie in the sky. They are just, so far, they only amount to theory. And then we've had the problems with the F-35 that landed up in south of India and created almost a tamasha. And then the world learnt about the kill switch, that even the United Kingdom could not on its own repair this aircraft, or they had to ultimately carry it away. And that has put severe question marks in terms of the reliability, of the serviceability of this aircraft. There are some speculations that suggest that its availability at the best of times is only 40%. That means if you buy 100 fighters, F-35s, only 40 would be available to you at any given point of time. Would that be acceptable in a combat scenario? The F-35 is hellishly expensive at $110 million a piece, but that's just the beginning. Far greater expenses are involved. It is the most difficult fighter aircraft to maintain and service. The anti-radar coating paint, that peels off, that has to be renewed, and even, like I said, an advanced country like the United Kingdom has found problems in the maintenance of these aircraft, which got highlighted. What was happening behind the scenes, we don't know, but which got highlighted when the F-35 landed up in south of India, in our airfield down south. And for a month plus, it was just hanging there, getting wet in the rain. They were refusing to get it into the hangar for security reasons whatsoever. But the simple fact is that India will have major problems in maintenance. India will have major problems in terms of integrating the softwares, and the softwares are the key. Integrating the softwares into our integrated air defense networks. The United States will not allow any tinkering with this aircraft. They will not allow us to load our softwares to support the BrahMos missiles, the Akash beyond visual range missiles, something that we have been able to do with the Russian aircraft. Even the French did not give us the source code, so we could not mount the BrahMos cruise missiles and the Akash BVR indigenous air-to-air missiles onto the Rafales. We have suffered that during Op Sindoor. Therefore, we have to be very careful. There is no question the United States is blunt and clear on that score of allowing India to manufacture this in-house. No question. And there are sovereignty issues. The United States imposes severe restrictions on where you will deploy these planes, how you will use them, against whom you will use them, and no changes whatsoever. into the basic source codes or onto the machine are permitted. And then comes the question of the kill switch, which got highlighted during the enforced stay of the F-35 in South India. If we are going to pay billions of dollars for such expensive aircraft, which are even more expensive to maintain, and then at the end of the day, in a crisis situation, the United States just presses the kill switch, and that is the end of billions of dollars of our investment. Can we afford that? We have seen the problems we have had with the GE 404 engines on the Tejas light combat aircraft. For 2 years they have put this entire program on hold, full realizing how crucial it was for us to phase out the MiG-21s. I mean, what happens to trust between two countries if this is going to be the state of affairs? We thought that Donald Trump's predecessor, Joe Biden, had turned absolutely implacably hostile towards India because he was so keen on his war with Russia, proxy war with Russia through Ukraine, that he was telling us you are with us or against us, and therefore he was doing everything to harm India. But we thought with the coming of Donald Trump that should have changed. There's hardly any change. We've got a whole new set of problems of tariffs and trade barriers, etc., etc. So the problem would be, we may be willing, it is the best stealth aircraft in the world in terms of capabilities, in terms of true stealth abilities, which the Su-57, the other aircraft on offer, does not have. But like I said, is that aircraft on offer? Where is the concrete offer to sell it to us? Neither has Boeing nor has the American administration contacted India on this score. There have just been, tweets and others galore. They have not been followed up in action. What is the other alternative? The other alternative is the Su-57. We were part of that program earlier, Sukhoi Su-57 of the Russians. We were part of that program earlier, and then we felt it was not stealthy enough and that we weren't being allowed enough share on the designing aspects, and therefore we had walked out of that program. But now this fighter is ready. Maybe there will be an export version, Su-70 version, that the Russians are talking of. But this fighter jet is ready. It has been tested in combat, not so thoroughly, but definitely it has been flown in combat. It has done some sorties, etc. And it is going to be far cheaper, almost $50 to $60 million a piece compared to the $110 million of the F-35. The maintenance costs are far lower. The availability rate is far higher. It's almost 70% availability. We had availability issues with the Su-30, which have been improved. 70 to 80% availability is there. The F-35 availability is said to be 40%. Can India afford such a deal? The best part of the Russian offer is they are going to permit you to manufacture, make in India. They will share the source codes, which will help us to integrate, the computer source codes and the equipment with our existing air defense Akash Tir system. We will be able to mount our BrahMos cruise missiles and their advanced variants, our hypersonic cruise missile and its variants onto this aircraft. We will be able to fire the Akash missile. They are offering to sell us the hypersonic air-to-air cruise missile to be fired from this aircraft. So it has a lot of pluses going for it. Minuses, the Americans would of course be very upset, but they are already upset. They have already imposed 25% tariffs on you, and they are saying that they will add another 10% for buying Russian oil and for buying Russian equipment, military equipment. So what choice do you really have? It could, spoil geopolitical relations between India and the United States. The United States almost seems keen to push India into the RIC camp, Russia, India, China camp. Whether that will be a great strategic achievement, I do not know. I do not know. Because if you want to force all your adversaries, likely adversaries, to combine against you, well, that's the worst policy. That from the geostrategic point of view, even the United States could adopt. Right? The simple fact is that the United States, as Henry Kissinger had said, it should be a settled maxim of American policy never to take on more than one major Asian power at the same time. Here, Donald Trump is almost heading for a situation in which he is forcing Russia, India and China to bandwagon, because they are all being threatened by the Americans economically, militarily, in every possible way. We thought that the groundwork for better Indo-American relations would be available, because Donald Trump was not keen on fighting with Russia, which has become a hiatus in Indian-American relations. So if Donald Trump was going to thaw towards Russia, then the chances of improvement in Indo-American ties were very high, because Donald Trump is very keen to get to designate China as the main enemy, the main threat, the main long-term competitor. So in this kind of a scenario, then Donald Trump has to think again. I'm sure he will, but the simple fact is that we have to go by the geopolitical harsh realities. And the reality is, one, we need at least 2 to 3 squadrons of 5th generation stealth fighters as an interim measure till the AMCA starts flying with our Air Force. The options are the F-35 and the Su-57. Out of the two, given the pros and cons, I think India may have no choice, as the way things are going, but to opt for the Su-57. Jai Bharat, Jai Hind.